So here's a story. Woman who walked in 3 home births, and her labors went on and on and on and on and on. Once she learned the birthing better skills, she realized that as she walked, she created internal tension inside her body. So in her next birth, she didn't walk. She got into positions that kept her open and kept her soft down there, and she birthed very, very quickly, except in second stage. In second stage, she was on her knees, which she felt was keeping her sacrum open, but she was bending the top part of her body across the bed, and she felt the baby wasn't moving down. And so what she did in her mind was to think about the tension and softening, the types of tension, the tension inside her body, whether the space is bent or whether the space is compressed. She didn't feel the space was compressed. She felt open, but she realized that she was bending the baby's space. So she lifted the top part of her body up, and as soon as she lifted the top part of her body up and then softened down there, her baby flew out. So it's really important that you understand that positions are all about progression of labor, which is in another lesson. So let me tell you another Birthing Better story. There was a woman who had used the Birthing Better skills, or what was previously known as Pink Kit, in 3 births. She was an Olympic athlete, so was her husband, and this birth was weird. It was just weird. She said it was on and off again and on and off again, not like her other births, because remember, there's no way to know what your birth's going to be like, and every birth's going to be different. And so she tried a lot of the Birthing Better skills, but she just didn't feel something was right. She went for a walk out in the garden. Labor finally picked up. And then she went and she sat down. And she discovered that she had to sit in a very, very, very specific manner. She said if she just slightly changed that, her upper part of her body, the contraction would just fizzle away. She wanted to keep the contractions as active as possible. So she eventually, after a much longer labor of being very precise in how she kept her body, began to push. Baby actually came out quite quickly when she began to push. This baby had incredibly long cord, and that cord was wrapped around its neck several times, wrapped under its armpit, through its groin as well. And so on reflection afterwards, the baby was telling her that its chances of doing well in this birth was determined by her choosing positions and postures that made it easiest for this baby to come out. Here's another birth story about Birthing Better skills. We were contacted by a woman who was an athlete. She was a cyclist. Cyclist has often a very relaxed belly, but very tense back. The muscles that run from the back of the head all the way on each side of the spine down the sacrum can be quite tight. This is a woman who had 3 previous cesareans, and she desperately wanted to have a vaginal birth. She'd gotten fully dilated, and then she couldn't push the baby out, and the baby's always stayed quite high. So she learned the skills, and she realized that in cycling and her athletic activity, that caused her to have a very frigid, blocked sacrum. So when she did the body work and learning how to mobilize the sacrum, that was like transformative to her. She had never really thought about her sacrum, much less known how to make it move. So she labored at home. She decided she was going to have a home VBAC after 3 cesareans, and she labored at home. The labor went fine. She had already gotten fully dilated, and then the labor just stopped like it had in her others. And she tried everything. The midwife said, change positions. She changed positions. Do this, do that. Nothing worked, nothing worked, nothing worked, nothing worked. She was about to go to the hospital when she suddenly remembered that she had worked with her sacrum in the Birthing Better skills. And as soon as she did that, she softened on the inside of the sacrum. She did Cake's Cat, which is one of the exercises, mobilized her sacrum, and the baby was out in 3 contractions. Why didn't she remember the skill sooner? That happens. Can't fault that. And even if she hadn't remembered the skills, we can't fault the birth. She felt much more in control. So work through the positions, please.